Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Happy every day. Today we are going to be doing some hip stuff, eventually getting into a squat. Later on my page, I will share some tips and tricks to help with your squat positioning as well. So be sure to check that out. We are going to get started on our backs today. If you come to my actual real life classes, you know that's like my favorite way to start. And we haven't really done that online yet. So here we go. We're just going to find a comfy position. Hi, Lisa. We're going to just lay back on our mats, closing our eyes, giving ourselves time to get settled here. Noticing the back of your body pressing against your mat, pressing against the floor. Tuning into the little details that are happening around you. Maybe noticing the air around your fingertips or your toes, the temperature of the room, the sounds, the smells. Take one hand to your chest and one hand to your belly. And have a moment to observe your breath. Noticing where your breath might be located, whether it happens to be in the chest or the belly. If you're feeling these big rise and fall waves, or if they're a little bit more shallow. And just observe without changing anything for a moment. Maybe noticing where that breath is originating from. And we can be grateful for this breath, for getting us here. And we can also remember that this breath is like our magic. No matter what is going on around us, whether we're at the grocery store and shit's getting wild, or whether we are here on our mats and we are in a pose that feels a little bit difficult, or not sure if we can hold it, or our muscles are being challenged. What we can control here is our breath. We can slow things down. Taking full deep breaths in and out through the nose will start to do just that. Feeling that big expansion through the belly, through the chest, all the way up into the throat. Exhaling, feeling that softening, maybe settling a little bit more into your mat. Get in touch with your rhythm and your flow. And before we get a little too comfy here, we're going to start to move. Practicing moving with our breath, we can inhale, sweeping the arms up overhead, giving ourselves a full body stretch. Exhaling, we're going to pull the knees into our chest. We can curl the chin in towards our knees. And then inhale, extend nice and long. Exhale, pull it in nice and tight. Inhale, extend long. And then exhale, pull it in nice and tight. We're starting to wake up here. We're going to lower back down onto the mat. You're going to extend your left leg long and pull your right knee in towards your right armpit. So when I say in towards the armpit, what we're thinking about is instead of pulling the knee in towards the chest, we're pulling it sort of to the outside. Ooh, not good balance, but we're on our backs. So we're pulling that knee in towards the armpit, getting a little stretch in the hip, waking up. Now pull that right knee in towards your center line. Notice maybe a subtle change. Feel your belly pressing into your thigh. And then finally, let's take a little twist. We're going to take the right knee across the body. Maybe that right hand reaches out and we gaze over the right shoulder. Think of breathing some space maybe into that right quadrant of your low back. Maybe into your outer hip. And then let's come back through center and switch sides. So that left knee is pulling in towards left armpit. So it's coming to the outside of the torso. And then now pulling that left knee in towards the midline, feeling the belly pressing against the thigh. And then finally bringing that left knee over, spinal twist, maybe gazing over left shoulder. We're going to come back to center. Each knee is going to pull in towards each respective armpit. We're going to keep the tailbone down on the ground. We're going to turn the feet to face the ceiling, and we're not going to bind or anything. We're just going to keep our legs just as they are. We'll extend one leg, take an inhale, maybe stretching into the hamstrings and the calves, and then exhale, pull it back into center. Inhale, extend the left leg, and then exhale, pull it into center. We're going to take that 2 more times on each side. We inhale, extending the right leg. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, left leg. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And then exhale. Take your hands, press your knees back together. We're going to come up into a seated position. So however you want to get there. I like to rock along the length of my spine, use the core, and rock all the way up and into a comfortable seat. Here we're just going to take a deep inhale, getting up nice and tall. On our exhale, we're going to hinge at the hips. We're going to drop our hands in front of us. Chin drops towards the chest or towards the floor. We're going to take a few deep breaths here. Maybe you're feeling a little space in the back of your hips, in the low back. Maybe you're feeling a little bit more tight, and that's okay. And we're still sitting mostly upright and the chin's towards the chest. But can we take a few deep breaths here? Maybe getting a little bit lower, surrendering a little bit more towards our lap and towards the floor. Let's take 3 more deep breaths. Every inhale, maybe you feel that space behind your heart, behind those shoulder blades. Every exhale, maybe we get a little softer. Tune in, maybe you can release your head a little bit, relax your shoulders. 1 more deep breath. Now when you're ready, we're going to roll all the way up 1 vertebra at a time, slow and controlled. We're going to come into a tabletop position. So if you want to roll over your knees or scoot your hips to one side and roll over, that's good. We want the hands below the shoulders and the knees below the hips, finding a nice neutral spine, so we don't want to dump into the belly. We also don't want to overarch through the back. So somewhere in between where we have a little bit of core control. As I mentioned before, we are going to be working the hips today. So that means both mobility in the hips as well as stability and strength. So we're going to start on the right side, and we're going to stay on the right side for a little bit. So inhale, lift the right knee out to the side. Toes are flexed. And then exhale, lower back down. Inhale, lift. Try not to dump into your forearm. Try to keep both arms straight. And then exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift and hold. Right now, our inner thigh is facing the floor, right? We're going to get an internal rotation here. So we're going to turn the top of the thigh to face the floor. The knee is going to stay exactly where it is. That foot turns up towards the ceiling, might be a small movement, and then turn it back down. We're going to do that 4 more times. Let's go. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower it back down. Extend that right leg. Hold strong here. Pull in through the belly. Working that outer hip for 5, 4, 3, 2, and now on 1, we're going to send that leg straight back behind us and then cross it over to the left side, bringing the toes down to the floor. We're going to bend into that knee, rock back onto our forearms, and just stretch the outer hips. So from here, my legs are crossed. My right knee is kind of right pressed into that left knee, creating a little knot. 3 more breaths here. Let's extend through the arms, hands below the shoulders. That right leg's going to come straight back and out and lower back down. If you have time later, practicing these little movements can really help strengthen your hips. It's a good little warm up for you. Let's go to the left side. We're going to inhale, left knee just lifts. Exhale, lower it back down. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. 2 more. Inhale, exhale, and inhale. Stay right here, inner thighs facing the floor, toes are flexed. We've got that 90-degree angle. Pressing through the hands, bellies in. Let's internally rotate. We turn up, down, up, down, up, down. 2 more. Up, down, up, and down. Now extend that leg out to the side like you're kicking the side wall. Try not to let it like lower down. Try to keep it up. Strengthening here, bellies in. You might start shaking, it's okay. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Extend that leg straight back behind you, over to the right side. Plant those left toes, bend into the knee. Those knees are kind of stacking right on top of each other. Forearms come down and we breathe. Let's come back forward. Extend that leg straight back and out. Bend the knee. Bring it back down. Let's take a couple rounds of cow into cat. Just wake up the spine a little bit. On the inhale, we drop the belly. We roll the shoulders back. Lift the gaze. We take cow pose. On the exhale, we pull up through the belly. Round through the upper back. We take cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Taking that maybe a few more times at your pace. Adding an extra movement, shoulder to hip, whatever works for you. Now we're going to find a nice neutral position. Belly's in. We're going to tuck our toes under. Try to get all 10 toes on there. We're going to lift the knees to hover. Belly's in. On our next exhale, we're going to press our hips right on top of our heels. Stretch through the toes. Inhale, glide back forward, hover. Exhale, rock back, stretch through the toes. Inhale, glide forward. Exhale, press it back, stretch the toes. Now staying here, we're going to lift the hips up high, head drops between our arms, and now press one heel towards the floor at a time. Lengthening the backs of the legs. When you're ready, press both heels towards the floor and pause. Let's take 3 breaths here. Find some stillness, some strength. One more deep breath. Gaze comes forward. We're going to come to the front of the mat. Hang in a forward fold. Letting the head be heavy. Finding some balance between front and back of the feet. Softening the shoulders, chin hangs towards chest. On an inhale, lift up halfway, belly's up and in, shoulder blades roll down and back, gaze is at the floor. We feel a little bit of engagement here in the hamstrings, doing the work to keep our torsos upright. And then exhale, we let go. We feel that heaviness of the upper body. We feel that stretch in the hamstrings, same area. Let's do that 2 more times. On the inhale, we feel a little activation, doing a little bit of work, belly's in. And then exhale, we let go, we relax. Inhale, lifting up halfway. And then exhale, we relax. Imagine we could screw the legs down into the floor and then soften the knees, roll up 1 vertebra at a time, coming all the way up. Hands through heart. Tadasana. Now, today we're going to take 3 sun salutations. We are going to start with a little toe squat. If you prefer to skip this step, it can be a little bit more of an advanced pose or a little bit troubling for the toes and the ankles. So feel free to stay in Tadasana instead. So we'll all start in Tadasana. Feet rooted, tailbones anchored, hands by our sides, the heart's open. Feeling tall and strong and confident. Maybe we stay here for this next bit. On an inhale, we lift up onto the toes, we find balance. If balance is good here, we can bring the hands through heart, we can lower the hips maybe halfway, maybe a little bit more, maybe all the way. Using all of these muscles in the legs to control this movement to stay strong. keeping the chest up and open. I'm still on my toes, stretching them out. Inhale, rise all the way up. And then exhale, lower the heels and fold forward. Inhale, flat back. On our exhale, we're going to bring the hands down to our mat. We'll step back, high plank. We'll lower down for our vinyasa, our high plank to low plank. Feel free to bring the knees down for support. Otherwise, we lower halfway, glide forward, inhale, upward facing, or cobra, of course, and then exhale, press it back to downward facing dog. Let's take just 3 breaths here. Enough time to find a little bit of stillness, a little bit of strength. Gaze comes forward, hopper step to the front of your mat. Inhale for your flat back. Exhale, fold forward. And let's inhale, rising up onto the toes, finding that balance again, or staying in Tadasana. Exhale, hands come through heart, slow and steady like we're taking an elevator down. Inhale, rise back up. On our exhale, we're going to lower, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, hands to mat, step back, high, low. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Deep breath in and out. 2 more. Gaze comes forward. Hopper step to the front of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. And inhale, rise up onto the toes. Last round. Exhale, lower. Inhale, up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, hands to mat. Step back, high, low. Inhale, shine the heart forward. Exhale, press it back, downward facing. And breathe. Gaze comes forward, hopper step to the front. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up. And exhale, lower down. Can we stay here for a moment, rolling the shoulders back? Continuing to balance here. If you found yourself in this position and it feels good, you're not like wobbling too much, maybe the hands come down to the knees, we separate the knees. Create a little bit more length here in the low back and the waist. Gazing at something on moving in front of you. Hold. Bring the knees back together. We're all going to meet back in Tadasana. So if you're already there, that's great. Let's rise. Lower the heels. Reconnect through all 4 corners of the feet. Tadasana. Let's inhale, lifting the left knee up, coming to balance on that right leg. On our exhale, we're going to send this left leg back to find a high lunge. If you want to take a moment to balance in airplane, that can be nice, little challenge, extending that left leg back, shining the heart forward, and then finally bringing those left toes down to the floor. Inhaling, the arms up. We found our high lunge. Now, option to stay here, or we'll tap the back knee 3 times before we lower all the way. Find a little bit of length in the waist on an inhale, and then exhale, bring that back knee down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Now on our exhale, all of us are going to lower all the way to the floor. Soften the back foot. We want to have these 2 90-degree angles. We never want the knee to be over the toes, that front heel's lifting. So we want plenty of space here. Hips are level. We're going to inhale the arms up for a low lunge. Maybe you're pressing a little bit through that left hip flexor, getting a stretch. Get a little bit more length in the waist. And on our next exhale, we're going to rock the hips back. You can plant your hands on the floor, or maybe blocks or books, whatever you have around. We're going to scoot that right foot forward and flex the right toes towards our face for a half split. This half split might be a little bit too much right now, so you can always lower your hips down to that left heel if you want, or if here's fine, that works too. You can flex the right toes. Imagine you could pull the right hip back, but also pull forward through the left hip. And breathe. Now we're all going to come forward. We're going to turn the right toes to the top right corner of our mat, and we're going to press into that knee. So what we're preparing for is a little bit of lizard. So we want to allow the right knee to kind of, or the right leg to come out of the right hip a little bit. We want to keep them level. Our hands come to the inside of that right foot. Maybe that left knee can scoot a little bit further back, but just don't let yourself kind of like dump into that left hip. Chest is up and open. Knee, toes, ankles, hip, they're all kind of going in that same line. Take an inhale here. On the exhale, maybe we get a little bit deeper. We bend into the elbows. On the inhale, we can lift. And then exhale, lower. Inhale. And then exhale. So we're going to stay here. I invite you to just stay exactly as you are. Build a little bit of strength in the arms in this like half push up here. Or you can even bring your elbows to a block or to the floor. I'm going to stay here, try to find a little bit of control for myself. Just breathing. Let's all extend through the arms. We're going to tuck the back toes and lift the back knee. So right now we have a little bit of power in that back leg, a little bit of support. We're going to reach the right hand forward. We're going to take 3 circles here. So the right hand reaches forward and then reaches up and back. Inhale, reach forward. Teresa, what are you saying? Teresa, you got this. Let's reach the hand forward, up, and back. I don't know how you're texting and doing lizard at the same time. Let's inhale forward and then up and back. Really just thinking about opening through the chest a little bit. Trying not to giggle too much. This is like old times. Bringing that right hand down to your mat. Keep pressing up through that back knee, lifting through your hip. We're going to bring the left foot forward, grabbing a hold of our big toes. We're going to inhale, lifting the hips. So you find yourself in a forward fold. If holding onto your toes is too much, that's okay. You can hold on to your shins. We're going to take this 3 times. On the exhale, we let our hips drop towards the bottom of a squat. And then inhale, lifting, stretching the backs of the legs. Exhaling, lowering. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, and we're going to hold here. You can soften through the head. Let your whole upper body be heavy. And just breathe. Let's all inhale, taking a flat back. The hands come up to the shins. We've still got this kind of a wide stance. On our exhale, we're going to bring the hands down to the mat. We're going to meet in downward facing dog. So of course, that means just stepping back to down dog, or if you want fire, we step back high to low plank, inhaling upward, exhaling downward. Let's take a deep inhale and exhale. Gaze comes forward, hopper step to the front of your mat. Inhale for a flat back. Exhale, fold, and then inhale, rise all the way up. We're going to come to balance on the left leg, so the right knee is going to lift. We're stepping back to our high lunge, so maybe we send that right leg back. We allow ourselves to float for a moment. Bring the right toes down. Inhale, high lunge. 3 taps or hold here. Exhale, tap. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. On our exhale, we're all lowering all the way down, softening that back foot. On our inhale, we can press slightly forward through that right hip, but still pressing back through the left. Arms up, lift through waist. Now rock your hips back. Hands can come down to your mat to frame that left foot. Left foot can scoot a little bit forward to flex the toes. Hips either stay stacked over that right knee or they can send all the way back to the right heel. We're focusing here on stretching behind the left leg. There's like a little micro bend in the left knee just to protect the joint. But it's normal to feel a big, maybe intense stretch here. Now let's come forward. Those left toes turn to the top left corner of your mat. We're coming back to our lizard pose. So the toes are going to turn out. The whole leg kind of comes out of the hip at a diagonal. Hands come to the inside of the left foot. Heart stays open. We'll take 3 little push-ups here. Inhale, and then exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And then exhale to hold. Again, maybe we're bringing the elbows all the way to the floor, or maybe we're just holding halfway to build a little bit more strength. Let's extend through the arms, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. We're going to try to keep the hips engaged. We're going to reach the left hand forward, 3 big circles here. We reach forward and then let that arm lift up and back, kind of shining the heart to the side wall. Inhaling forward, exhale up and back. Last one, inhale, and then exhale. Bring the left hand to the inside of that left foot. Pick up that right foot, bring it next to your hand. So we have nice wide stance. So if my hands are here, they're still on the outside. I'm going to drop the hips down to the bottom of a squat, bringing my hands to my heart, pressing my knees away with my elbows. We're going to keep it moving here. So on an inhale, we can drop the hands, allow ourselves to float all the way up. The legs are doing the work. And then exhale, bring it back down. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. So we're going to stay here for a little bit. What we want to think about is creating a nice line in our spine. So we don't want to like become little gargoyle and round forward. We want to just keep the chest up and open. The knees should be pressing out on their own, but the elbows can press just a little bit further. Hands are still at heart. Might be nice to sit on a block here underneath your hips, or to move your feet a little bit wider if you need to. Now we're going to get a little heart opening just like we did in our lizard pose. So we're going to drop the right hand and then reach the left hand up and open towards the ceiling. And then exhale, bring it to center. Inhale, open to the other side. And then exhale, bring it to center. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more time on each side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Bring it to center. Now, for those of you who like to take crow here, that can be a great opportunity for you. Otherwise, maybe we just stay here for a little bit longer. Remembering that it's a balance between strength and mobility. So we don't want to completely let go and be like sitting, ass in the grass. We want a little bit of tension here. Nice strong core, strong hips, right? Now, when you're ready, we are going to meet in child's pose. So for you, that might look like a vinyasa, or it might look like you're just stepping back, separating your knees, hips to heels. I'm going to take a little vinyasa. So I'm going to bring my hands down to the mat. I'm going to step back high, low. Inhale for an upward. And then as I exhale, I'm going to separate my knees, hips to heels, forehead to floor, child's pose. And just breathe here. If you took crow, maybe you're settling that breath back down. Maybe you're quieting the mind a little bit more, focusing on that third eye, pressing into your mat or your floor or your whatever. Now when you're ready, we are going to slide the hands back, tuck the toes, lift the hips, meet in one last downward facing dog. Finding a little strength and stability here. Hips are high, heels pressed down. When you are ready, walk your feet right through your hands and come into a seated position. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together. Knees out wide. Blocks can support your knees underneath. And we want to have a large diamond shape, so we're not like worried about pulling the feet tight in. We can keep them nice and wide here. We're going to sit up nice and tall. Inhale, reach the arms up. And then as we exhale, we're going to hinge at the hips. Then soften the arms, soften the upper back, chin to chest, and just melt towards our laps. Just as we folded forward earlier, we're feeling that space in the back body. Maybe we're feeling released with every exhale. When you're ready, we're going to roll all the way up through our seated position. We're going to bring the knees together. You can scoot the hips in, shoulders back. We're going to make our way onto our backs. I like to get there via boat. Shoulders back, belly in, feet lift up. My core is engaged. I'm going to very slowly lower one vertebra at a time all the way down onto the floor. Hands are going to come by my sides. I'm going to turn my palms over, roll the shoulders back, puffing the chest. I'm going to slide my feet back into that same position. Soles of feet press together, knees press out wide. Now on an inhale, I'm going to lift my hips but press down through my knees. So I inhale, lifting, exhale, lower. It can be a very small movement. Inhale, lift, and then exhale, lower. Inhale, lift, and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower back down, bring the knees together. Move the feet out a little bit. Hip width distance apart. Hands come back down to my mat. I'm going to pick up the right foot and I'm going to cross it over the left thigh, pressing my right knee towards the floor. I can stay here or I can lift the left foot, interlace my hands behind that left leg and take pigeon on my back, or figure 4. Continue to press that right knee away. When you're ready, you can release your hands and you can drop this entire figure 4 over to the left and gaze over that right shoulder. Maybe the left hand presses into that right knee. We'll take 3 deep breaths here. Let's come back through center. Lower that left foot down, right foot meets it. Left foot comes up and crosses over the right thigh. Again, we can stay here, or maybe we lift that right foot off of the ground, interlace the fingers behind the right thigh, press the left knee away. Continue to press that left knee away. You want to be feeling it in the back of that left leg and the left hip. When you're ready, release and allow that entire figure 4 to drop over to the right. You can gaze to the left, maybe press the left knee away with your right hand. So I'll come back to center. The feet can come down. We're going to come back to our happy baby position. Can we keep the tailbone and the hips on the floor as we lift the feet off of the ground? You're going to pull the knees wide, maybe towards the floor, and then turn the feet to face the ceiling as if we're squatting on the ceiling. Hands can come behind our thighs. They can hold on to our shins, or maybe even hold on to the toes. I prefer somewhere in between on my shins. I'm just going to hold here. Maybe I rock side to side. Just noticing how my hips feel at the end of our practice. It might feel nice to extend one leg, roll the ankles, pull it back in, extend the other, pull it in. Release your hands from your shins or your ankles, slide the knees back in towards each other, and extend the legs nice and long. Hands can come down by our sides, shoulder blades roll down and back. We close our eyes. We allow ourselves to surrender here, Shavasana. Sometimes it can be difficult to quiet the mind, even at the end of a practice. Nice thing to do when this happens is to just focus on the breath. I am breathing in. I am breathing out. I am breathing in. I am breathing out. We can quiet the mind and quiet the world by just focusing on each breath to the point where it is just you and your breath. And eventually, you let go. You could stay here as long as you like or begin to come back. Again, focusing on the breath, making small movements. We'll take an inhale, reaching arms up overhead, full body stretch. On our exhale, we're going to roll to our preferred side, left or right. Finding the fetal position, we rest our head on our bicep. We close our eyes and take 3 deep breaths here. On the inhale, we're going to take in some good positive energy. On the exhale, we're letting go of anything that no longer serves us. Visualize that goodness, something that you want to bring into your day, into your life. Take a deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, sigh it out through the mouth. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, sigh it out. One more. Inhale. Exhale, let go. Help yourselves up and into a seated position. You can bring your hands to your heart, your thumbs to your sternum. Taking a moment to feel your heartbeat, your breath, your energy. Knowing that no matter what happens, no matter what's going on out there, you have the option to slow this breath down. To choose to act in light, love, and peace towards yourselves and towards each other. Namaste. Thank you guys for joining me. Maybe see you tomorrow.